Wait. Did you see the way this went down? Criminal charges loading, the inheritance case that flipped every single rule upside down. This isn't just a win. Nah, this is a storm in slow motion. One move, one mind, one verdict that changed everything. Oh, you're about to hear the kind of story that doesn't whisper. It shakes walls. Every line hits like a strike. Every pause burns like proof. You think you've seen pressure? Wait till you feel the silence before victory. Because this right here, this is not luck. It's precision, pain, and power stitched together. Yeah, I know you've been through moments where no one believed in you. Moments where you had to fight without screaming, stand when everything around you said sit down. Well, this speech, this journey, is for you. For every watcher who's ever been doubted, ignored, or underestimated, this one's your mirror. So don't skip. Don't breathe too early. Stay till the end. Feel every pause, every twist, every burn of truth. Because when this story unfolds, it won't just entertain you. It'll wake something inside you. You'll feel that familiar fire rise, that voice inside saying, maybe I've got more fight left than they think. Oh yeah, before we go in, shout out to you. The ones watching, the ones listening, the ones commenting, the ones who refuse to give up. You are the reason this message exists, the energy behind every word and every punch of truth. This isn't just my story, it's ours. Every view, every reaction, every thought you drop below adds another spark to this fire. They thought it was about the papers, but it was never about the papers. You ever notice how silence can get louder than words? How the room shifts when truth walks in wearing scars instead of suits? Oh, that's what happened the day I stepped into that courtroom. They expected another desperate soul, begging for a share, a name, a slice of gold. But what I carried wasn't greed. It was proof. Proof that justice doesn't need a mask. It needs a memory strong enough to survive betrayal. You could see it in their faces, the fake smiles, the quick whispers, the shifting eyes. Everyone wanted the inheritance. But no one wanted the weight that came with it. They wanted wealth without wounds, titles without trials. But me, I walked in ready to bleed, if it meant truth would finally stand up and speak. Yeah, the air was thick. You could almost taste the fear. People laugh at the idea of criminal charges loading until they realize the one loading isn't the system, it's you. Every lie they told, every forged paper, every insult disguised as courtesy, I stored it all, quietly, patiently, like a shadow watching the light flicker, knowing it will burn itself out soon. They underestimated how silence can turn into strategy, how the person they mocked could be the one holding every receipt when the storm hits. See, that's the part they never tell you. Truth doesn't shout, it waits. It learns your rhythm, your weakness, your arrogance, and when the time is right, it walks in calm and clean while you crumble under your own performance. Oh, they called me cold. They said I was heartless for not reacting when they lied. Nah, I just learned that emotion is a luxury you can't afford when you're building evidence brick by brick. While they laughed, I observed. While they boasted, I calculated. And when the judge's eyes met mine, I didn't flinch. Because when you've already been betrayed by those closest to you, no stare in this world can break you anymore. Every accusation they threw was meant to crush me. But I didn't fight back with noise. I fought back with silence. Silence that spoke louder than their entire legal team. Silence that made them look at their own reflection and realize they were guilty before the verdict even came. I didn't just win an inheritance case that day. I buried the illusion that kindness means weakness. I buried the myth that patience means defeat. When the decision came down, the courtroom didn't explode in applause. It fell quiet. That heavy, chilling quiet that happens when justice actually works. And you know what's strange? The victory didn't feel like joy. It felt like release. Like years of carrying a locked door inside finally opened. And behind it wasn't treasure, but peace. Because this was never about gold or land or legacy. It was about reclaiming my name, my dignity, the part of me they thought they'd buried under lies. Oh, they didn't see it coming. The very hands that tried to erase me ended up signing their own downfall. That's the funny part. People build traps, forgetting who remembers where the floor creaks. Every signature they forged became a confession. Every trick they played became a map leading straight to them. Now the world whispers he won. But they don't know what it cost. They don't know the nights I spent stitching my silence into armor. They don't know the weight of walking into war with nothing but truth in your hands. They only see the final scene, not the slow burn that built it. The case is closed. The papers are signed. The world calls it victory, but I call it transformation. The moment a victim becomes something else entirely. Because once you've faced betrayal and walked out cleaner than those who plotted against you, something inside you changes forever. Winning isn't the end. It's the beginning of what they'll try next. Oh, you thought the courtroom was the battlefield? Nah. The real fight starts when silence follows the verdict. That's when masks begin to slip, when smiles start to twitch, when the ones who lost start whispering in corners trying to rewrite what just happened. The papers are signed, yes, but truth doesn't end with ink. It keeps breathing quietly inside the people who tried to bury it. The moment I stepped out, I could feel it. The shift. Victory has a strange scent. It attracts envy faster than it earns respect. People who once offered fake congratulations now look with eyes that weigh your worth against their failures. That's the cost of winning something clean. You remind others of what they had to cheat to get. Yeah, they can't stand it. Because the calmness after victory feels louder than any scream. They wanted me to lose loudly. Instead, I won quietly. And quiet victory burns deeper. It doesn't celebrate. It lingers. It walks past their gossip, their twisting stories, their hidden rage. They thought I'd stop once I got the inheritance, that I'd relax, forget, move on. But they don't realize, peace doesn't make me soft. It sharpens me. See, I learned something through every lie they told. People reveal who they are, not when they lose, but when you stop reacting. They get nervous when you no longer rise to defend yourself. Because your silence says what words never could. You're beyond their reach. And that's the kind of power that terrifies them. Oh, they tried to test it. Small things at first, rumors, sudden phone calls, twisted stories about what really happened. They thought they could shake the foundation, pull me back into the chaos. But I didn't bite. I've already learned the rhythm of manipulation. I've studied their games so well that even their silence feels predictable now. When they can't win in truth, they chase shadows. They try to stain what they can't destroy. They move in the dark thinking I won't notice, but I do. Every whisper carries a familiar tone. Every fake apology hides another agenda. And yet, I let it pass. Because not every attack deserves an answer. Oh, you can feel it, can't you? That tension like the air before a storm. They're waiting for me to fall into the same traps they set before. But I've learned to see the patterns now. The game doesn't scare me anymore. It bores me, because you can't scare someone who's already seen the worst version of betrayal and still stood tall. This inheritance wasn't a reward. It was a test. It showed who was real, who was false, and who was ready to pretend forever. And while they're still fighting ghosts of their own greed, I'm just walking forward. One step, one truth, one quiet victory at a time. Yeah, they'll talk. They'll twist. They'll act like they're winning outside the courtroom. But deep down, they know the case may be over, but I'm still the verdict. They can't erase. They built a system to control me. I learned it so well, I became it. Oh, isn't that something? The same walls they thought would trap me became my fortress. The same laws they twisted, I studied line by line until I could hear them breathing between the words. Yeah, they tried to play the system. I decided to become fluent in it. That's the part they never saw coming. They were busy chasing shortcuts while I was mastering structure. It's strange how power shifts quietly. One day you're fighting to survive in a courtroom. The next, the very people who mocked you start asking you how you did it, how you stayed calm, how you turned an inheritance case into a lesson written in steel. And I tell them the same thing. I stopped reacting. I started reading. Not just papers, people, their tone, their pauses, their habits. Because the system isn't in the files, it's in the faces. Nah, I didn't win because I had better lawyers. I won because I understood human nature better than they did. Every person in that room had something to lose. I just had something to prove. And when your purpose burns cleaner than their greed, the system begins to bend toward you. It's not magic, it's discipline. The kind of discipline that makes silence heavier than a shout. They still think I'm lucky. Maybe I found the right loophole at the right time. Oh, they have no idea. They don't see the months I spent studying how each rule connects to the next, how every signature becomes a weapon when used with patience. They don't know that knowledge, quiet, slow, and precise, is the sharpest blade a person can hold. And once you hold it, you start to see things differently. You see how fear guides people more than reason. You see how comfort blinds them. You see how easily truth can be hidden when people stop asking questions. The system isn't just written, it's performed. And once you understand the script, you can rewrite it. That's what I did. Step by step, I turned their traps into lessons. Every trick they pulled became a study in weakness. Every delay, every lie, every attempt to wear me down only trained me to stand longer. Oh wow, who would have thought betrayal could be the best education? And then, something changed. They started to avoid me. The same people who once called me desperate now avoided my name like it was a warning sign, because they realized I wasn't playing anymore. I was observing, calculating, building something bigger than revenge. I was becoming the kind of person they couldn't manipulate again. Yeah, that's the moment I understood. True power isn't in control, it's in composure. When you no longer need to prove yourself loud enough for others to notice, you've already won a quieter war. The kind that doesn't make noise but leaves echoes everywhere you go. Power tests your silence more than your struggle. Oh wow. Everyone wants to win, until they realize winning means leading. It's easy to fight when you're angry. It's harder to rule when the noise stops, and all you can hear is your own conscience asking, now what? Yeah, that's when the crown gets heavy. Not because of gold or glory, but because it's made of responsibility. Every choice, every reaction, every consequence now belongs to you. I used to think victory would feel like freedom, but no, it feels like focus. Every move now matters. The same eyes that doubted me before are watching again, waiting for a single mistake to prove I never deserved to win. And yet, I stay calm, because power isn't about being feared, it's about being precise. The louder the world gets, the quieter your mind must become. Nah, I don't chase revenge anymore. That part of me burned out the moment I realized revenge only makes you look back. I'm not walking backward. I've seen what greed does, how it eats people from the inside until they can't tell the truth from tricks. I'd rather carry the weight of truth, even if it's heavier. Because the moment you let your anger lead, you lose direction. And I didn't come this far to lose to emotion. Oh, the same people who once fought me now try to imitate me. They copy the calm, the discipline, the way I speak in measured words instead of loud threats. They think power is a performance. They still don't get it. Real strength doesn't need an audience, it just is. Quiet, steady, unshaken. The kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Yeah. I see now that leadership isn't about ruling others, it's about ruling yourself. The court ended, but the trial never did. Every day tests who you've become. Every choice builds or breaks what you stood for. And that's what the inheritance truly was. Not wealth, not property, but proof that patience outlives corruption. They call it control. I call it clarity. The kind that cuts through manipulation and temptation like glass through fog. Because when you've learned to carry peace in chaos, you've already mastered the hardest part of power. Legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you build while they're still watching. Oh, everyone talks about leaving a mark, but no one wants to bleed for it. They want their names carved in walls they never helped build. But I learned something through this inheritance war. Legacy doesn't come from wealth or titles. It comes from the scars you earn while standing for truth when everyone else bends. Yeah, the case ended, but its echo still moves through every person who watched it unfold. That's legacy, living proof that patience can outlast deceit. At first, I thought the fight was about reclaiming what was mine. Now I see it was about teaching everyone who witnessed it how to stand when the world tries to silence you. Because every generation repeats the same story. Lies dressed as logic, greed disguised as family, betrayal hidden in smiles. The only way to break that cycle is to show what strength looks like when it refuses to turn cruel. Nah. I'm not here to be remembered as a winner. I'm here to be remembered as someone who stayed clean in a dirty game. Someone who didn't trade truth for power, even when power was right there waiting. The world forgets how rare that is, to win without losing your soul to pride, to walk away calm when everyone else is still shouting. Oh, they still test me. Even now, whispers crawl through corridors trying to twist the story again. But I don't chase them anymore. Because I realized something. When your legacy becomes truth itself, you don't need to defend it. Time does it for you. Truth ages well, lies decay fast. The more they speak, the more their own words trap them. Yeah. That's the quiet revenge I never planned but earned, not through destruction, but through endurance. You see, legacy isn't noise, it's discipline that outlives emotion. It's the calm that walks beside your name long after the crowd forgets the fight. And maybe that's the greatest victory of all, to turn pain into principle. Now when I look at the inheritance, it doesn't shine the same way. It's no longer a prize, it's a reminder. A reminder that every gain carries a test, that every victory is watched, not just celebrated. Because once you've proven yourself, People start measuring their strength through your story. And that's when you realize legacy isn't about you anymore. It's about what your endurance teaches others. Oh, who would have thought an inheritance case could turn into a life lesson? But it did. It showed that patience wins louder than arrogance, that quiet confidence can crush deceit without raising a hand. And now, the very people who once doubted me look at me differently, not with fear, but with a strange kind of respect they can't explain. Yeah, I built something stronger than a victory. I built an example, a pattern for those who come next. Because truth, when carried with courage, always leaves a trail that others can follow. That's legacy. Not a monument of pride, but a mirror of strength. Oh, what a ride. You felt that, didn't you? Every line hit, every pause spoke louder than words. This wasn't just a story. It was proof that truth walks stronger than lies. Yeah, the case is done, but the message stays. Calm beats chaos, patience beats pride, and focus always wins in the end. So if this hit your mind or fired your heart, drop your thoughts below. Your voice matters. You're part of this movement now. Criminal charges loading. The way you won this inheritance case, that's not luck, that's legacy. Aha. You ever feel like the whole world's been playing you? Like every smile hides a deal? Every promise hides a price? Oh, this one's gonna sting. Because after years of fake faces and twisted truths, one of them just broke. They couldn't hold it anymore. They vomited every filthy secret they buried beneath their perfect mask. You're not ready for this. Nah, you think you are, but what you're about to hear, it's raw, it's real, it's dark. Every lie, every hidden motive, every mask, they all fall here right now. So buckle up, don't scroll, don't even breathe too easy. Because once this starts, there's no going back. You've been lied to, controlled and fed illusions like candy? Yeah, sweet on the tongue, poison in the mind. They built the stage, wrote the script, and made you play your part without even knowing. But tonight, oh tonight, someone finally snapped. Someone from their side. And the truth they spilled? It's uglier than you ever imagined. You think you can handle the truth? You sure? Because this isn't your feel-good story or happy ending. This is the moment the mask melts, the curtain burns, and the game ends. And guess what? You, yes, you're not just a viewer anymore. You're part of this moment. You're the reason this truth has power. Because people like you don't run from reality. You face it. You dissect it. You rise above it. So here's the deal. Stay with me till the end. Don't miss a single second. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Every reaction, every realization, every truth you've spotted. This isn't just my story, it's ours. You've earned this moment, you've earned this truth. And if you're watching this right now, you're already one of the few who can handle what's coming next. They painted smiles on your walls while poisoning the air you breathe. That's where it all began. Quiet, harmless, familiar. They told you what to think, what to feel, what to want. You thought it was protection. It wasn't. It was training, a slow conditioning, a kind of gentle cage with clean edges and soft words. And you smiled through it, didn't you? Because everyone else did too. You didn't see the chains, they were invisible, disguised as comfort. They spent years lying to your face, straight to it, looking right into your eyes while twisting the knife behind your back. They said this is for your good. And you nodded. You trusted. You obeyed. But deep down, deep where your thoughts whisper in the dark, you knew something was off. Something didn't fit. The world around you felt too clean, too managed, too fake, like a staged show where every actor smiles just a little too wide. Oh, that's when the cracks started showing. Small at first, a strange word, a quiet contradiction, a headline that didn't make sense. You brushed it off, of course. Everyone did, but the cracks spread. And once the first lie broke, the rest came crashing down like shattered glass. You stood there in the middle of it all, staring at the pieces, realizing that everything you'd been told was just decoration on a cage. They said they were teaching you truth. Nah, they were teaching you obedience. They said they wanted to guide you. Yeah, they wanted to control you. Every fact, every rule, every standard they built was another brick in their structure of silence. They shaped your thoughts to fit their script. And when you started to question it, they called you crazy. Funny, isn't it? The moment you see the bars, they tell you the cage doesn't exist. Then came the moment, the turning point. One of them, one of their own, couldn't hold it in anymore. The weight of their lies finally crushed them, and they broke. You saw it, didn't you? The tremble in their hands, the cracks in their perfect tone. They spilled everything, every secret, every hidden deal, every masked cruelty they'd buried under polished smiles. They vomited the truth out like poison, finally leaving a sick body. It was ugly, raw, real. And for the first time, you felt something real in this fake world. Disgust. Oh, that moment. That's the moment. Everything changed. The air felt different. The ground beneath your feet wasn't the same. Because now, you knew. You saw the faces behind the masks. The eyes that never blinked. The hands that signed your trust away while smiling for the camera. You couldn't unsee it anymore. And that's the curse of awareness. Once you see it, you can never go back. They lied for years, and you believed them. Don't blame yourself. They were experts, masters of disguise. They spoke your language. They played on your fears. They sold you hope in shiny boxes, but inside was nothing but dust. And when you finally opened it, the truth burned. It burned because it showed how blind you'd been, how much of your life was spent serving their illusion. Oh yeah, that pain you feel right now, that's the cost of waking up. But here's the part they never planned for. Once one truth slips out, it spreads. You can't contain it. It moves from one person to the next. Quiet but unstoppable. And now the question is, what do you do with it? Do you pretend you never heard it? Do you go back to smiling at their lies, pretending you don't know, or do you let it burn through the rest of their walls until every mask falls, every false voice fades, and every truth stands naked in the light? Because make no mistake, once one of them breaks, the rest start to shake. They panic. They scramble. They whisper behind closed doors, trying to patch the cracks. But the cracks are everywhere now, and you're standing in front of them, eyes wide open, heart heavy, but alive for the first time. Truth doesn't whisper forever. It learns to scream. You wanted to see it, didn't you? You wanted to know what happens when the truth finally bites back. Well, Here it is. It doesn't knock politely or wait for your permission. It claws its way through the cracks, tearing through the lies you wrapped yourself in. And when it arrives, it doesn't come soft. It bites. It burns. It breaks everything you thought was solid. At first, you'll hate it. Oh, you'll curse it for showing up. Because truth doesn't care about your comfort, your dreams, or your pride. It comes to collect what's real. And that means everything false must fall. You'll feel it inside you. That sting of realization that they fooled you, shaped you, played you like a piece in their grand design. You'll want to look away, but you can't. Once seen, it can't be unseen. Once heard, it can't be unheard. You remember the one who broke, right? The one who spilled every filthy secret. Their voice cracked, their mask slipped, and for a moment they became human. You saw fear in them, not guilt, not shame, fear. Fear of being seen for what they truly were. That's the thing about lies. They rot the ones who tell them first. And when the truth escapes, it doesn't just destroy the system, it devours its makers. Yeah. The moment the truth breaks loose, everything fake starts running. They'll try to patch it, twist it, rewrite it. But the damage is done. The infection has started. The lie that once held power now crumbles in daylight. The more they fight it, the faster they fall. Because the truth doesn't need to shout forever. It just needs one echo, and it spreads like fire through dry grass. And you start to see through everything. The fake smiles, the hollow promises. The systems are built to look strong, but built on fear. It's dizzying, isn't it? Nah, you're not losing your mind, you're finding it. You're seeing the world without filters for the first time. The noise you hear isn't madness. It's the sound of illusions dying. There's a moment that hits you then, calm but sharp. You realize truth isn't the enemy. It's the cure. Painful, yes, but cleansing. It doesn't destroy you. It strips away what never belonged to you. It leaves you raw, bare, real. That's the cost of waking up, the loss of comfort in exchange for clarity. Oh, how they fear that clarity. Because a person who sees clearly cannot be controlled. And here's where the story turns darker. Because when truth bites back, it doesn't stop at words or faces. It turns inward. It looks at you. It asks, how much of the lie did you help build? That's the hardest part, realizing you weren't just a victim. You were also a participant. Every time you stayed silent, every time you looked away, every time you accepted what didn't feel right. The truth bites everyone, no exceptions. The air feels heavier now, doesn't it? The silence after exposure, the waiting, because now that truth has started to speak, it won't stop. And when it moves next, it won't just reveal, it will demand something from you. The hardest person to confront is the one staring back in the mirror. So, what will you do when truth asks for your part in the lie? Because it will. It always does. It waits until the noise fades, until you've pointed your fingers at everyone else, and then silence. And in that silence, it turns on you. That's the moment you realize the war wasn't just out there. It was inside you the whole time. You start thinking back. The moments you nodded when you should have spoken. The times you laughed just to blend in. The nights you felt something was wrong, but you stayed quiet because it was easier. Oh, that sting you feel right now. That's not guilt alone, it's recognition. You see the part you played, The small silences that built their walls, the small fears that made their power possible. You didn't lie, but you protected lies by pretending not to notice them. Truth doesn't only destroy falsehood, it exposes comfort. And comfort, that's the soft poison. It whispers, stay calm, don't get involved, it's not your fight. And you believed it. Because it's easier to stay blind than to see what sight will demand from you. But now, sight is here. No going back. The truth is not just revealing what they did, it's revealing what you allowed. Yeah, that hurts. But it's not a wound meant to break you. It's surgery. It cuts so you can heal right. The world told you that being silent made you safe. Nah, it made you weaker. It made you a piece of someone else's game. Every quiet person is a wall protecting a liar. And now that you know it, you can't be that wall anymore. You see, the ones who built the deception always needed helpers, not in action, but in silence. People who looked away. People who followed orders without question. That's how falsehood grows. Not through monsters, but through ordinary people, choosing ease over truth. And once you see that, the mirror becomes heavy. It's not about blaming yourself forever. It's about facing the truth so you can finally stand free from it. Oh, and that's the hardest kind of freedom, the kind that asks for accountability. You start feeling a shift inside, a strange mix of shame and power. Because now that you've seen your part, you also see your strength. You realize the truth isn't here to humiliate you, it's here to test you. It's asking, what now? Will you keep being quiet? Or will you finally speak? Will you rebuild your mind with honesty? Or keep patching the cracks with excuses? The choice sits heavy in your chest, waiting. It's strange, isn't it? The same truth that broke you also begins to shape you. It tears away weakness piece by piece until what's left is something solid. That's how truth works. It ruins the version of you that served the lie, so it can build the version that won't bow again. Every hard lesson, every bitter taste, every I can't believe I let that happen, all of it becomes fuel. The fire that once burned you, now burns for you. Oh yeah, this is where the turning point begins. Not in rage, not in revenge, but in awakening. You realize that power doesn't come from pretending to be flawless. It comes from facing your flaws without fear. You can't fight deception until you've faced the one hiding in your own reflection. And once you do, something clicks. The same voice that used to whisper excuses now starts whispering purpose. The truth has bitten. The mirror has spoken. And now the silence before your next move feels louder than any scream. You've seen the game. You've seen your part. And now you're about to see what happens when awareness turns into action. You can't fix a lie. You can only break it. That's where it begins. The breaking. The slow, sharp, deliberate breaking. You've seen the truth. You've faced your reflection. Now comes the hardest part, acting. Oh wow. This is the part that tests if you meant all those words about wanting change or if you were just talking. Because breaking lies isn't about speeches. It's about courage when nobody's clapping. You start with the small ones. The lies you told yourself to stay calm, to stay safe, to stay quiet. You tear them apart, one by one. Each one feels like a thread pulled from your own skin. It hurts. It burns. But beneath that pain, there's relief. The kind that feels clean. For once you're not carrying someone else's story inside you. You're not repeating their script. You're writing your own. The world won't like it. Yeah. They'll call you bitter, dramatic, difficult. They'll say you changed. And they'll be right. You did. Because once you start breaking lies, you stop fitting in with people who live by them. You stop pretending you don't notice the masks. You stop laughing at what's false. It's not pride, it's peace. You've chosen honesty, and honesty never blends quietly. Oh, the reaction will come fast. They'll push back. They'll twist your words. They'll try to make you feel alone. But remember, they only fight what threatens their control. Your silence was their comfort. Your truth is their alarm. The louder they resist, the closer you are to something real. And that's when you start to understand. Truth doesn't need a crowd. It just needs one person who won't bow. You start seeing the world differently. The lies that once seemed huge start looking fragile. You see how fear keeps people frozen, how comfort keeps them quiet, how falsehoods feed on people's need to belong. Nah, you don't belong there anymore. You've stepped out of their circle, and now every move you make cracks the illusion a little more. Every word you speak sends a tremor through the walls they built. Breaking lies is not about revenge. It's not about humiliation. It's about cleansing. You're not trying to destroy everything, just the parts built on deception. You're clearing space for something real to grow. And that's the difference between chaos and clarity. Chaos breaks without reason. You break to rebuild. You strike not from hate, but from truth. Oh, and that's where the fear in them turns to respect. Because they realize you can't be bought, fooled, or bent anymore. You've seen too much. You've gone too far into the silence to ever fear it again. You don't need noise to prove your power. You just need to keep standing in what's real. This is where your story shifts again. The lies have cracked, the truth is breathing, and the silence you once feared has become your weapon. But there's one more thing waiting in the dark, something that even truth can't reveal until you're ready. The last lie doesn't live in the world around you. It lives quietly inside you. Oh, you thought the war was outside with them, with their systems, with their masks. But the truth has one final twist. The biggest lie wasn't in their mouths, it was in your own mind. It's the lie you whispered to yourself to survive the rest. The one that said, I'm too small to change anything. That lie, that's the one that built all the others. You see, once you start breaking falsehoods, the last wall that stands is the one made of your own fear. It's soft, invisible, polite, but strong. It tells you to settle. It tells you to move on. It tells you that knowing the truth is enough. Nah, it's not. Truth means nothing if it ends at awareness. It must live through action, through choice, through discipline. That's where most people stop. They wake up, they see the dirt, they talk about it, and then they go back to sleep with cleaner excuses. But you're not here to sleep again. You've already lost too much time believing them. You've already seen too much to go back. The final lie is the one that says you can't rise above it. But you can. You always could. You just needed the silence, the shock, and the scars to realize it. Yeah, that realization hits like lightning. It shakes something deep, because for the first time you see yourself without the story they gave you. You see the version of you that wasn't shaped by fear or false limits. The one who doesn't wait for permission. The one who doesn't look for approval. The one who doesn't need a mask. You see it? Raw, silent, steady. That's who you were before they taught you to shrink. Oh, that's power. Not the loud kind. Not the kind they flash in front of cameras. It's quiet, patient, and grounded. It's the strength to stay calm when they try to shake you. The strength to speak when silence feels safer. The strength to keep your hands clean even when lies promise reward. It's not about pride, it's about truth, living inside you, guiding every step, no matter who's watching. And when you reach that point, when the final lie breaks, something happens. The noise of the world fades. The faces of the deceivers lose their meaning. You stop chasing the fight and start walking in truth itself. Every step becomes deliberate. Every word becomes a mirror. You no longer react to their lies. You expose them just by standing firm. Oh yeah, that's the real revenge. Calm truth against noisy deception. Now look around. The ones still living in the fog will call you distant, changed, maybe even dangerous. Let them. You've walked through the fire of deception and came out knowing who you are. You've faced every lie, including your own. You don't need to shout your victory. It's written in your silence. The kind of silence that no lie can live inside anymore. So remember this. When they lie again, as they always will, you won't break this time. You've already met the truth face to face, and it lives within you now. Oh wow, you made it till the end. That means you felt it. Every word, every crack, every truth they tried to bury. Respect for that. Real respect. Yeah, they spent years lying to your face, but you didn't blink. You saw it. You heard it. You faced it. So if this hit you, drop your thoughts below. Let me know what truth woke you up tonight. And remember, the lies only win when you stay silent.